Okay, so when we think about the kitchen, what's the first thing that, springs to mind?
For most of us, it's got to be comfort,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Warmth.
yeah, exactly. The smell of something delicious baking. It is, well, it's the heart of the home. It feels rooted in tradition and safety.
hmm And that feeling, that deep-seated feeling of safety, is precisely what we need to challenge today.
Okay.
Because we have this powerful stack of sources in front of us that suggest the kitchen isn't just a place of nourishment. It's also a space harboring these silent, toxic invaders.
That sounds intense. But it's true, and our mission for this deep dive is, I think, really crucial. We're going to uncover the 8 most common risks.
Right, the ones hiding among your favorite pans and even your everyday spices.
And the most important part, for each one, we're identifying simple, practical, and, affordable solutions you can literally implement this week.
And the stakes here are so personal, these aren't just abstract environmental concerns.
No.
The sources show that recent studies are linking materials we've long considered safe, or at least, benign, to really serious health issues. We're talking hormonal imbalances, chronic inflammation.
And specific disease risks. And the key, as you pointed out just before we started, is accumulation.
Exactly. This isn't about some sudden acute poisoning.
Yeah.
It's about the slow migration of microscopic particles and chemicals into your food. A tiny dose today, another tomorrow.
And it just builds up inside your body over years, sometimes decades.
So this deep dive is really our guide to thinking critically about every single material that touches your food. It's about being informed not just about ingredients, but what you're cooking with.
Because things like microplastics and forever chemicals, once you ingest them, they're designed to stick around for a lifetime.
You really are.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a structured countdown, working from item number 8 all the way down to the single most contaminated thing in your kitchen.
Right, and we're starting with hazards embedded in the plastics and synthetic materials we all use every day.
So let's kick it off. Item number 8.
Item number 8.
Hmm.
The ubiquitous plastic cutting board. I mean, almost everyone has one.
Or several, yeah, tucked away in a cupboard. And the danger here is, well, it's incredibly physical and immediate.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Thousands of times you slice and dice. Every single stroke of that knife is releasing microscopic plastic fragments right into the food you're preparing. And a 2023 study actually quantified this.
And it's not just a few particles. That research found that each cut releases thousands of microplastics.
Thousands from one cut.
Yes, and when they aggregated the data, the estimates suggested that from the cutting board alone, you could be consuming anywhere from 14 to 71 million particles a year.
That is a genuinely shocking number. And once they're in your body, where do they go?
They accumulate. The research shows they can lodge in your organs, your liver, your kidneys, even your lungs. And the early evidence suggests a strong link to chronic inflammation.
Which is the root of so many diseases.
Exactly, along with hormonal disruption and cardiovascular risk.
And that's not even mentioning that a scratched-up board is basically a petri dish for bacteria.
Oh, absolutely. So the consensus recommendation from the sources is firm.
Which is?
That plastic cutting board needs to go immediately. Don't even repurpose it, just discard it.
Okay, so what are the safe swaps?
Overwhelmingly, wood, specifically bamboo, because it's durable and less porous, or, tempered glass or marble are also great options.
That seems like an easy enough switch. Okay, let's move to item number 7. And this is where the story gets, well, frankly, it gets really disturbing.
It does. We're talking about the black plastic spatula.
Right. And this one is an absolute head-scratcher.
Because many of these standard black kitchen tools are shockingly made from recycled electronic waste.
Wait. Recycled. Electronic waste. You mean like old TVs and computer casings.
Mm-hmm.
I use a black spatula all the time. I thought it looked sleek. It hides stains. So is there any way for me to tell if mine is a literally melted down computer plastic?
Well, that's the problem. The sources suggest blanket avoidance is the only safe route because you just can't visually tell the difference.
Wow.
And the danger was proven in a 2024 study that analyzed them. It found that 85% of these black plastic items contain toxic flame retardants.
Flame retardants, the chemicals they put in old electronics to stop them from catching fire, are now touching my food?
Precisely. And in some samples, they exceeded the legal safety limits for these toxins by over 1,200 times.
Unbelievable.
And when you use it in a hot pan, those chemicals readily migrate right into your food. The health links are severe, a 300% higher cancer risk, thyroid problems, lower fertility. They even show up in breast milk.
That's just terrifying. So the easy swap here is obvious.
Immediately discard any black plastic spatulas you own. Just get them out of your kitchen, pivot to really reliable materials like stainless steel, natural wood, or a certified high-quality food-grade silicone.
Okay, so our third item in this category, number 6 overall, is one most people have probably heard about, but maybe they underestimate the danger.
The scratched nonstick pan, Teflon.
Exactly.
Awareness is definitely high, but compliance is often low. People want to squeeze one last year out of that pan.
Right.
But once that coating is scratched, it is instantly compromised. It releases millions of PFAS nanoparticles.
Commonly known as forever chemicals, and we call them that because the body has pretty much no way to eliminate them, right? They just build up.
Precisely. They accumulate in our systems.
Mm.
And the list of health issues linked to them is horrifyingly long. We're talking direct links to cancers of the kidney, testicle, thyroid, liver, and pancreas.
And it goes beyond cancer.
Oh, yeah. PFAS exposure is shown to weaken immunity, reduce vaccine effectiveness.
Yeah.
And the sources even note that high heat from a damaged pan can cause acute symptoms, sometimes nicknamed Teflon flu.
So the message has to be crystal clear. That tiny little scratch isn't just cosmetic.
Not at all. It's a major portal for toxic exposure.
So if your pan is scratched, chipped, or peeling,
You must discard it immediately. The consensus safe move is to transition to cast iron, high-quality stainless steel, or modern ceramic cookware.
okay, that covers the big structural risks. I feel like this next group, though, it hits even closer to home because it's about how we handle and store our leftovers every single day.
Right. Let's get into heating and contact risks.
Mm.
Item number 5 is a daily ritual for millions.
Which is?
Reheating food in old plastic containers in the microwave.
I am so guilty of this. It's fast, it's convenient, you just pop it in. What makes this so much more dangerous than, say, the cutting board?
It's the combination of the heat and the contact time. It just rapidly accelerates the release of plastics.
Even if it says microwave safe.
Even then, microwaving plastic, even stuff labeled BPA-free, releases billions of nanoplastics. And here's the really critical detail. The substitutes for BPA, things like BPS or BPF, they might actually be more toxic.
More toxic? How?
Because they can be even more potent hormone disruptors, even in smaller doses.
So we're just swapping one known toxin for another that's potentially worse. What are the long-term consequences of that kind of exposure?
The links are chilling. An increased risk of diabetes, obesity, infertility, hypertension. But a finding from a 2024 source really shocked me.
What was it?
It found that microplastics accumulating in human arteries actually doubled the risk of heart attack and stroke.
Wow, that's a direct line from my leftover container to my heart health. The recommendation here has to be absolute, then.
It is. Never heat food in plastic. Full
Yep.
stop. Use only glass or ceramic containers.
Okay.
And remember, even if the food is in a glass bowl, that plastic lid can release toxins when it gets hot from the steam. So always take the lid off.
Good tip. Okay, moving on to number 4. Fake silicone utensils. Silicone is supposed to be the great savior, right? The non-toxic, heat-safe alternative to plastic.
It is. But the sources suggest a lot of it is problematic. This is where being a critical consumer really, really matters.
Why is that?
Because you simply cannot tell the difference between high quality and cheap silicone just by looking at it. Low-grade silicone molds, spatulas, baking mats, they often contain up to 40% cheap plastic, toxic fillers, even heavy metals like lead and cadmium.
So if one source said 84% of tested silicone products showed hormone-disrupting activity, that means most of what's out there is risky.
It does.
So if you can't tell by sight, how do we verify the quality?
You have to rely on two things: certifications and a few simple home tests. For certification, look for FDA approval or international standards like LFGB.
LFGB.
It's a German food-grade standard that's much stricter than basic U.S. requirements.
Yeah.
Or NSF 51, which is a key certification for commercial food equipment.
So we're looking for proof of rigorous testing.
Exactly. A reputable manufacturer will list those certifications.
Yeah.
And for the home tests.
Yeah.
Two simple ones. First, the color transfer test. Rub the utensil vigorously on a piece of white paper. If any color transfers, it's a sign of cheap fillers. It's fake.
And the second one?
Heat it up. If you detect any chemical or plastic-like smell, that indicates unsafe compounds are being released.
Those are really practical, actionable tips. Okay, let's move into our final category, which is all about consumables and surface contamination. Starting with item number 3.
Imported spices.
This one feels so insidious because it accumulates so slowly and it's completely invisible.
It is. A major investigation found that a staggering 1/3 of popular imported spices were contaminated with heavy metals. We're talking lead, cadmium, and arsenic.
And these are contaminants that are harmful in microdoses, and they're concentrated in something we use daily.
Absolutely. And these heavy metals, they don't leave your system quickly. They build up for decades. Lead is a neurotoxin linked to reduced IQ. Cadmium damages your kidneys. Arsenic is a known carcinogen.
And for children, the risk is even more acute.
Just a quarter teaspoon of a contaminated spice can push a child past their safe consumption limit for the day.
Wow. That puts every pinch of chili powder or curry mix in a totally new, alarming light. What are our defenses here?
The sources strongly advise vigilance. You have to buy from trusted, established brands that have good quality control and actively avoid those unlabeled bulk spices because they often have no traceable origin.
And rotating brands.
That's a clever strategy, so you aren't continually consuming the same contaminant profile. And of course, growing your own simple herbs, basil, oregano, rosemary eliminates that supply chain risk entirely.
Okay, now for number 2. Strong cleaning products on food surfaces. We're all trying to be hygienic, but we might be poisoning ourselves in the process.
It's the classic paradox of overcleaning. When we use these industrial-strength chemical cleaners on countertops where we prep food, the chemical residues can stick, even after a quick rinse.
And the data shows this is a growing problem. I think one source said poison control calls related to cleaners are up by 23%.
They are. And then there's the immediate acute risk of mixing products.
Right.
That's a huge warning. Never, ever mix common household products, especially bleach and ammonia. They create highly toxic, sometimes lethal chemical reactions. The bottom line is, harsh chemicals just have no place where your food is going to touch.
So we need food contact safe cleaning protocols, solutions that either dissipate or are safe in trace amounts.
And the consensus recommendations are really simple and effective. Diluted bleach, about 1 tablespoon per gallon of water, or 70% alcohol, are excellent sanitizers.
And for natural methods.
Vinegar and baking soda are reliable, but no matter what you use, you have to rinse the surfaces thoroughly afterward to get rid of that residue.
Okay, we've arrived. The final item on our list. Item number 1, and the source material is emphatic about this.
It is. This is the single dirtiest item in your entire kitchen, and you probably use it every single day.
Hey, it is.
The old kitchen sponge.
Oh, boy.
Brace yourself for this number.
Yeah.
The common sponge is 400 times dirtier than a toilet seat.
Stop. That is absolutely repulsive. How can something that's constantly wet and used with soap get that contaminated?
It's the perfect ecosystem for bacteria. A 2024 study broke it down. They found 362 different bacterial species.
Okay.
And 82 billion bacteria per cubic centimeter. That includes pathogens you typically find in raw sewage, like E. coli, Salmonella, Campylobacter, and Staph aureus.
But I've heard people say you can sanitize them, boiling them, microwaving them, soaking them in bleach. Do those methods actually work?
And that is the crucial myth we have to bust. The sources confirm that trying to sanitize a sponge is largely ineffective. Or worse, counterproductive. You might kill off the weaker strains, but you're leaving behind supercolonies of the hardier, more dangerous bacteria. No sponge should be considered safe after 1 week of use.
So boiling it just creates a hot bath for superbugs. What's the simple rule for managing this risk?
Replace sponges weekly, no exceptions. And consider switching your main washing tool to an antibacterial silicone brush, or even those porous cellulose wipes.
And there's a critical behavior change, too.
Yes. Never, ever use a sponge on surfaces that have touched raw meat, on baby bottles, or on your cutting boards. For those high-risk areas, use paper towels with a splash of 70% alcohol, and then toss the towel immediately.
This has been a whirlwind of actionable risks. So now that we've uncovered all 8 invaders, let's just synthesize this. For the listener who is feeling maybe a little overwhelmed right now, what are the immediate high-impact changes they can make today?
Yeah, let's narrow it down. There are 4 items that should be immediately retired from service.
Okay, what are they?
The old kitchen sponge, any black plastic spatulas, any scratched nonstick Teflon cookware, and any of those old cloudy plastic containers you use for heating food.
So those 4 immediate swaps get rid of the highest concentration risks. The bacteria, the toxic flame retardants, the PFAS, and the nanoplastics.
Absolutely. And if we connect these immediate swaps to the long-term benefit, what you're doing is actively reducing your cumulative toxic load.
You're stopping that slow, decade-long buildup.
Exactly. The heavy metals from spices, the chronic ingestion of microplastics from cutting boards, and those dreaded forever chemicals from your cookware.
And the sources are so clear on the safe swaps. Move decisively towards natural wood, high-quality stainless steel, certified silicone, and glass or ceramic containers.
Hmm.
You really do have the power now to make your kitchen fundamentally safer with this knowledge. Every single item you swap out is an active protection measure for yourself and your family.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's a provocative thought to leave you with. Since chemicals like PFAS and heavy metals accumulate in your body for decades, look back at these 8 items. Consider which single one you use most frequently. What might that small daily accumulation of toxins over an entire lifetime mean for your future health? And how does that realization motivate you to keep sourcing the safest alternatives you can find?